I bought this 1996 Volkswagen T4 as a salvage van to repair and make into a camper van. So far we've done a lot of work on this old van. After rebuilding the brakes and putting the back end together, it was time to put the front on this van. After a lot more cutting and welding, we got it done. This is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, I have anyway. Don't know about you lot. After a cheeky test drive up the road, we had a van that was running and driving. It's done. Now I need to repair these rusty wings and finally paint this front end. Yeah, and then get a piece in there somehow and panel beat that into place. We have to put another couple of bits in here. I guess it's worth saving. It's going to be a little bit of work to get this back to how it should look, but nevertheless it's just a case of cutting up more metal and trying to get it in there. So the first piece in was the piece along the bottom there, as you can see. So I had somewhere for the wheel arch to meet to. So the next bit in is going to be that bit, which should marry up with that bit, and then we can fill in that bit after. Coming along, coming along. So after some cutting and bashing, the next piece fitted. Then I had to make another template, and I do love a template. That piece was tricky around them vents, but it fitted well. Better than I thought it would anyway. This wing was turning into a labour of love and was very time consuming. This was the worst area of both wings and was really starting to take shape, but we had a lot more to do. So the last piece of this wing was the rear wheel arch piece, which was well rotten. But it actually turned out well in the end, and that was it. The first wing was done and I was well pleased with it. Now it's on to wing number 2, which I'd already pulled the dent out in a previous video. So I only had to repair the rear section of this wheel arch, which didn't turn out too bad. Well, I've been working on wing 2 and I've made myself a little panel here. There we go. I'll get that welded in place now. And boom, just like that, the wings were repaired. But this was only half the job. Now we had to try and make them look good. So it was out with a filler, and after a few good spreads, a lot of sanding and shaping, we had the wings, bonnet and grille in primer, and the painting part was getting even closer. Well, I'm back, and I've been working on these here wings and the panels for the front of the van, and I'm really hoping I'm going to be able to get these painted. Well, actually next week I'm on the right shift. Working well for me, so I've actually done a lot of work on these wings. They were rotten as a pair. I'd like to say they're perfect. They're not, but they're pretty good. So it's either repair the wings or get new ones, which I weren't prepared to spend that amount of money on a set of wings. I thought about the fiberglass ones, but I'm very anti fiberglass. And so in the end I've done a lot of metal work. I'm in the position now, I want to give them one last blocking session, get them wet flatted, and we're going to be finally getting paint on this. Got the front grille on up there. I've actually got the bumper in the shed, which I'm going to be getting out and getting that prepared probably for next week. So anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to get on, block these down so I know I've got pretty as straight as I can get them. And we're going to be getting ready to paint this van. And I can't wait to see the thing together, if I'm honest. So let's just get on with it. So here we go again. It was out with the satin black for the guide coat, so I'm going to be able to see any imperfections in my primer. Then it's grab some 320 paper and the blocks and sand this bonnet down till it's nice and smooth. Then it was on to our repaired wings, being careful on all the edges not to sand through to the metal. Right. Oh, that's a bit dusty. One more wing to do, and then I think we're going to be getting closer to a bit of 800, and then we can get these wet flatted, and I hope we're going to paint them. Lastly, I like to spray panel wipe on them to check for any low areas after sanding. That looks pretty damn good there, Paul, now. Yes, that's going to be going over for that one for now. Finally, it was time to finish blocking this last wing down that we had done a lot of repairs to. After blocking down the lower half, I removed the masking, got out the DA sander, prepped the top half. After a wipe down, it was ready for the next stage. Well, that's pretty much got my wings sort of ready. Just going to give these ones a little bit of a clean up inside. Once I've done that, I can be able to get some stone chip on both the insides of these wings. Once that's done, we'll be able to flip them over, give them an 800 wet flat. Before we get to fully painting, I think we're going to have to get the inside of that bonnet painted. And when I do that, I might actually just flick around the insides of these wings as well. Possibly, but anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We're moving on quite well now, actually. Oh, that's all new metal in there. Really quite pleased with that. So, for someone that's not a very good welder, I'm impressed. And I managed to save the wings. We'll get back into this tomorrow. So, welcome back. Back in the garage today. Been doing a few other bits and pieces, mainly DIY, I must say, but we're getting away from that today. And I need to work on these wings. And on the bonnet. We're going to try and get the underside of this bonnet painted, and I'm going to try and get the inside of the wings stone chipped. I think that'd be better for them, especially with all the work I've done inside. It'd be nice to give them a good coat, stop any, rust starting again. And I'm just going to finish getting this one masked up. I'm going to get my stuff ready, and we're going to actually get this underseal on here. So after a bit of masking around the edges of the wings, I wipe down with a panel wipe and a blow with the airline. He was ready to apply a nice thick coat of underseal to these wings to try and protect these wings from the elements of the UK weather. Well, that's got them done, and so now I'm going to be able to turn my attention to the inside of this bonnet. I'm going to get the rest of it cleaned up, get some base coat mixed up, and actually get some paint on the thing. Well, at last, after many months of work, I can finally start the painting process. So it was out with the panel wipe, the final clean, degrease and blow down. Then it was mix the paint at 50-50 ratio, paint to thinners. This is 2K base coat I'm using. Then apply a nice even coat, making sure to cover all the edges. And allow a couple of minutes between coats for the solvent to dry off before applying the next. Well, there we go. Bit of base coat on there, so let that dry, and I think that'd be good to flip over and start prepping the other side. Here we go again. So I'm about to start wet flatting this bonnet, and can't believe I've actually got to this point, to be honest. This one's been 320, and all I need to do is run over this with a 600. And then that'll be ready for base coat. I've got to do the wings as well. So the other day we got our underseal in there, and they look a lot better, I've got to say, especially around all the parts that I've welded up inside there, looking a lot nicer, and protected all that metal work in there. So when they go back on, they're going to last a good number of years, so no problems there. All I'm going to do now, got my bucket of water ready, grab my 600 and start the laborious task of wet flatting. So here we go. I like to sand the large areas first, and then move on to the hard to reach places and the edges afterwards, and making sure everything is nice and smooth so your base coat goes down nice. Then it's a nice clean with fresh water, squeegee down, then dry off. Then we was on to the wings, which is the same process as the bonnet. A quick pot noodle for lunch, finish sanding off the final wing, and we're done. And bang! The wings are all ready, and all we need to do now is get them wiped down, final wipe, tack them off. I'm going to get the base coat mixed up, and hopefully going to get some paint on these things. Want to get them done today. Without further ado, let's just crack on with it. So we're back out with the panel wipe to fully clean and degrease these panels before we start painting. Then I'm blowing the panels down to make sure there's no dust anywhere. So then it's check the air pressure coming into the garage, make sure it's 30 psi on the regulator. Now it's time to mix some more paint, 50-50 ratio again. Now let's paint these panels. I'm starting off with a nice light coat and building it up slowly, making sure to get all them edges. I find it best to take it steady with a base. We put a lot of time into these panels, and we want to get a nice finish in the end, so there's no point rushing. Right, so I've just give it one more off the camera, and don't look too bad. But it's nowhere near happy with that, so I think what I might do is, well, In fact, what I've got to do is I've got to go and get some more paint, which is a bit of a pain because I had it mixed specially to match. So I've just cut this bit off the old grill, and I'm going to nip down the paint shop and we'll see if we can get some more paint. I mean, it is a good match. I think it may be a touch more brown in it, I don't know. But nevertheless, I need to nip down a paint shop, get some more paint, and then I'll have no worries. We've still got the bumper to do, and I've still got the grille. And if there's any other bits on the van I want to do, I want to make sure I've got enough paint for that. So I might get another, maybe a half a litre. So nip down the paint shop, and I'll be back in a jiffy. Well, I'm back from the paint shop, and it's not good news. Can't get the paint today. Might not even have it tomorrow. But hopefully the lads down there are going to get it sorted for Saturday. So, but he did say phone up tomorrow, and they might have it. But anyway, I'm actually quietly pleased with these wings, I've got to say, considering the condition they was in. And I looked at them the other day and I thought, oh, I'm not sure. But after seeing them now, I'm convinced that they've actually come out pretty damn good. I mean, I'll put a picture up now of what they was actually like around them parts, and that was just not there. That was not there, none of that was there, so really pleased with that. Obviously the bonnet, we've got the base coat on, and it ain't bad. I'm going to nib it down, bit of 800, and the other wing, again, really pleased with that. I mean, it had a nasty dent in it through there, and can't see none of that now. And we did put a little piece of metal in the back here as well. That section at the back there was all rotted away as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to nib these wings down, bit of 800, get them ready, so when I get me paint I'll be ready to go, and then after that we'll carry on moving. Let's get the 800 out and carry on with these wings. So that's it. Got them bits flatted down. Tomorrow, yeah, dust a bit more base coat on them and hopefully get some clear coat on. They're not come out too bad, and hopefully my paint's going to be looking good tomorrow as well. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. So today's the day. Fingers crossed it all goes according to plan, and we finish base coating these wings, get some clear coat on, and then I'm going to have to go back indoors and carry on with the decorating. Let's just get some paint mixed up, get these things wiped down because I know they're a bit dusty. We've been sitting in here a couple of days. Tack them off and get to base coating. So at last, this is the final preparation for these wings and bonnet. After a quick clean down with a panel wipe, I threw down 2 light coats of base, and that was it. We were ready for the clear coat at last. Well, that's all they're getting off me. Hopefully they'll dry and look pretty good. Yeah, just tack off any dust particles on there and get that clear coat mixed up and get it on there. Bonnet and 2 wings, how much clear do we need? So finally we're here. The part where all your hard work hopefully pays off and you end up with a glassy showroom finish. So after mixing the clear, 2 parts clear to 1 part hardener, we start by wetting down the floor to eliminate some of the dust. Then it's a final tack down to remove any dust on the panels, and it's time to try and get our glassy finish. It's got the first couple of coats around it, little dry one first of all for the next one to stick to, and one that's a little bit wetter the next time round. We'll let the dust clear and we'll go back in, and then we can start really laying a wet coat down, and then hopefully we'll have a piece of glass at the end of it. Well, that went on a nice bit wetter, that. So, that's the right word. So, got our sort of second stroke third coat on, and it ain't looking too bad, I'll be honest. Usual bit of rubbish in it, but you know, we can deal with that after, not a problem. So let's let the dust settle and come back and stick another coat on. Not bad at all, that. I mean, so bonnet rather nice now. So that's got them painted, and that's going to be all for this video. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, whack that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video, where hopefully these wings are going to be getting bolted on.